Quick introduction to this video. The location is Hadleigh Castle in Essex. It's a location I've visited numerous times. And although I've captured some nice images there, and I'll show you some of these images after this segment of the video, I've never really got what I've been looking for, which is a bit of colour in the sky behind the castle. So it's something that many of you photographers will realise I have to constantly keep going back. So this is one of my visits. While we're there, we'll also look at how to set up the exposure bracketing facility on a GFX100S. Just walking up the mount now to Hadleigh Castle. Again, as I said before, I've been to this location a number of times and never got the image that I wanted. We'll see how we go this morning. Weather's it's not too good. There's a lot of low cloud, but it might get a little bit better as we get towards dawn, which is about half an hour away. Well, I'm up on the mound at Hadleigh Castle, and I've just set up this first composition. As you can see, there's this wall, demolished wall in the foreground. The tower I've set up mid-thirds. On the left-hand side, there's the remains of a tower, and there's a tree. Not a bad image, so... While we're up on Hadleigh Castle, I'll just give you a quick run through of the exposure bracket settings on the GFX100. On most Fujifilm cameras, the bracketing settings on the top left hand corner on a little dial, but it's slightly different on the GFX100. So if you press drive, you'll see there that if you go up, a single shot at the very top, single image, and then you come down and you've got bracketing, AE bracketing, and that's the to bracket the exposure. This particular camera I've got it set up to take the image as I set it up, as I set the exposure up manually, and then to take one stop either side of that image. So if we show you how we do that, if you go into the menu, the camera, down, hold on, come down to AE bracketing and across. So you'll see there you've got frames and step setting. Frames is just the number of frames you actually want to bracket. You can see there I've got mine set up at 3 frames. That's the original frame that I set up manually, and one stop either side. If you go to steps, that's asking you how many stops you want to do the interval at. You see I've got mine set up at 1 stop, so it takes the original image and then it'll take an image 1 stop either side. If we go back, you've got 1 frame or continuous. Basically that's asking you, do you want it to take 1 frame one after the other, or do you want it to take them all in one go continuously? I've got mine set up at 1 frame. And finally, sequence setting. Really that's just asking you what sequence do you want it to take the image in. Mine's set up at 0, so it takes the original image that I've set up myself manually, then it takes one at +1 stop and one at -1 stop. And that's basically how you set it up. You can set it up to, I think it's about 7 images either side, but I wouldn't want to do that. So it's a good system. Once it's set up, once you get used to it, it's as good as gold. Oh, that's the end of that little trip. It was freezing cold this morning. My hands are frozen to death, but I'm just leaving Hadleigh Castle now. I'll just give you a little look.